Hello everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Manuel Masa and I am from TBI 5A. In this video, I would like to present my final project for the course Research Statistics in ELT. This project consists of two types of research, namely experimental research and correlation research. I will explain title, context, data analysis, and the interpretation of the result. Okay, the first research is an experimental research. Title is The Effect of Drama Method on Student Speaking Ability. This research aims to examine whether the drama method has a significant effect on student speaking ability. This research is a hypothetical experimental study conducted at Islamic Junior High School. The participants are 8 grade students divided into two groups, an experimental group and a control group. The experimental group was taught speaking using the drama method, while the control group was taught using conventional teaching method. After the teaching process, both groups were given a speaking test to measure their speaking ability. For the variable, the independent variable is the drama method, and the dependent variable is student speaking ability. The speaking scores are measured using an interval scale. For the research design, this study used a quasi-experimental design, especially a non-equivalent control group design. Both groups were given a pretest to measure their initial speaking ability. The experimental group then received treatment using the drama method, while the control group received conventional instruction. After the treatment, both groups were given a post-test. And for the hypothesis, we have two hypotheses. The first one is the null hypothesis. The null hypothesis states that there is no significant difference in speaking ability between students taught using a drama method and those taught using conventional method. And for the alternative hypothesis, it states that there is a significant difference between the two groups. So, to analyze the data, this research used an independent sample t-test. This test was chosen because the study involved two different groups. The data were interval, and the purpose was to compare the mean scores of both groups. And now, for the step of analysis. The first one is state the hypothesis null and hypothesis alternative. The second one is determine the level of significance alpha, that means 0.05. Third, calculate the mean scores of both groups. 4, calculate the t-value. 5, compare the t-value with the t-table. 6 is the draw conclusion. And now I will explain the SPSS steps for the experimental research. The first one is open the variable view, and then type scores in name and the student scores in the label. And then type group in name and identify the control and experiment in values. The group variable was coded as 1 for the experimental group and 2 for the control group. And now move to the data view and input the student speaking scores based on the their groups. Click Analyze, then compare means and select independent sample t-test. Now move to the variable student scores to the t-test variable box and the variable group to the grouping variable box. Define group 1 as a 1 and group 2 as a 2 and click OK. And finally, SPSS displayed the output, including the group statistics and the independent sample t-test table, which were used to determine whether there is significant difference between the two groups. Now, let's see the interpretation between two variables in experimental research. Based on the SPSS output of the independent sample t-test, the mean scores of the experimental group is 84.90, while the mean score of the control group is 72.00. This shows that students who were taught using the drama method achieve higher speaking score than those who were taught using conventional methods. The result of the t-test indicate that the significant value is 0.0. Since the significant value is lower than 0.05, the null hypothesis is rejected and the alternative hypothesis is accepted. This means that there is a significant difference in speaking ability between students taught using drama method and those taught using conventional method. Now we move to the second research. The second research is correlation research, entitled "The Correlation Between Student Vocabulary Mastery and Speaking Ability." The purpose of this study is to find out whether there is a significant relationship between student vocabulary mastery and their speaking ability. So now, for the context research, this correlation study was hypothetically conducted with 8th grade students at the junior high school. 10 students were selected, and their vocabulary scores and speaking scores were collected for analysis. For the research variable, the first variable is vocabulary mastery, and second variable is speaking ability. And for hypothesis research, the null hypothesis states that there is no significant correlation between vocabulary mastery and speaking ability. And the alternative hypothesis states that there is a significant correlation between vocabulary mastery and speaking ability. The statistical analysis used in this research is person-product moment correlation. This test was chosen because the purpose of the study is to examine the relationship between two variables and the data are interval. And now for the step of analysis. The first one is state the hypothesis. The second one is determine significant level alpha, that means 0.05. Third is calculate the correlation coefficient or R. The fourth is compare R value with R table. 5. Interpret the result. And now I will explain SPSS step for the correlation research. The first one is open the SPSS and went to variable view. Create the two variables, namely vocabulary mastery and speaking ability. Now move to the data view. Input the vocabulary scores and speaking scores of the students. Then click Analyze, Correlate, and select Bivariate. Move both variables, vocabulary mastery and speaking ability, into the variable box. Then select Person Correlation and click OK. Finally, SPSS display the correlation table showing the correlation coefficient and the significance value which were used to interpret the relationship between the two variables. Now, the interpretation in correlation research. Based on the SPSS output of person-product moment correlation, the correlation coefficient between student vocabulary mastery and speaking ability is 0.985. This value indicates a very strong positive correlation between two variables. The significance value is 0.00, which is lower than the significance level of 0.05. Therefore, the null hypothesis is rejected and the alternative hypothesis is accepted. This result shows that there is significant relationship between student vocabulary mastery and their speaking ability. So, to conclude, this final project presents two different research design, an experimental research to examine the effect of teaching method and a correlation research to examine the relationship between two variables. Through this project, I learned how to select appropriate statistical tests and interpret SPSS result correctly. Thank you very much for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.